All right, everyone, listen up. You've seen the headlines. You heard the whispers, probably even scrolled past a few wild price predictions in your crypto career. But what if I told you that the XRP price you're looking at right now, sitting around a couple of bucks, is about to get a serious reality check? Yeah, I know $15 for XRP sounds like a dream for some, maybe even a joke to others who've been through the ringer. But here's the thing, while everyone's focused on the past, there are massive, undeniable shifts happening right now that are pulling XRP towards that $15 mark a whole lot faster than anyone, and I mean anyone, is giving it credit for. Get ready, because in this video, we're not just making bold claims, we're breaking down the hard facts, the hidden signals, and the market catalyst that prove $15 XRP isn't just possible, it's closer than you think. You absolutely do not want to miss what we uncovered. You're going to want to make sure you stick around to the end because we got a lot to unpack. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Crypto markets are looking absolutely beautiful. Bitcoin, $109,418. It's currently up a little over 2% in the past 24 hours. Ethereum coming in at 2,688. It's currently up almost 6% in the past 24 hours. We are seeing XRP holding down at number 4 spot, still battling in a super, super tight range, coming in at $2.28. I like what we're seeing right now. Bitcoin, it's looking to make that push up, the exact push up we've been calling for quite some time. The massive, massive move up to $120,000. Total cryptocurrency market cap 3.43 trillion. What we are going to see in this bull run is a lot of the money that has moved into gold and has sent gold soaring rotate out of gold into Bitcoin. We've talked about this narrative for quite some time on the channel. That narrative is very simple. Gold is not a fixed supply, heavily manipulated. All right, we don't know how much gold is actually out there. Bitcoin, fixed supply. Manipulation, can't really happen, right? Everything's on the blockchain, everything is visible. And we know how much Bitcoin there ever will be. A lot of that money is going to come into Bitcoin. Keith put this out. Bitcoin, it nukes 2 more short levels. That's another new high. The trend is up. Red candles here, some short term, and they are testing waters, but nothing more until the trend fails. There you go. Look, once we get to this 112, 110 to 112,000 is the most important short term range for Bitcoin. When this range breaks and we get a closure above that range, that run, you're going to see an instant move. You're going to see green candles like you never seen before. 117 to 120 is the first stop. No, it's nowhere by being done then, but we do have some important information that we need to pay attention to. What is that? Well, that's coming out tomorrow. We're talking CPI. The consensus on Wall Street here, and I don't believe I have this pulled up, but that's okay. Let's see. We'll get into the XRP price next. The consensus on Wall Street is definitely eyeing a 2.5% CPI print this week, and that's driving a lot of the current market anxiety. However, I think that the expectation might be a touch too high. My personal read on the data suggests that CPI is probably going to be coming in a range of 2.1 to 2.3. I get it. It doesn't seem like that is a lot, but it's significant. A print in that range, 2.1 to 2.3, would be a clear signal that disinflationary trends are gaining traction, moving beyond just based facts. Crucially, it would likely surprise to the downside relative to Wall Street's current pricing, which often leads to a more pronounced market reaction. Such a downside surprise in CPI would give Powell and the Federal Reserve significantly more latitude to pursue a more aggressive rate cutting cycle. More aggressive rate cutting cycle, folks. He's speaking in about 2 weeks. I believe it's around not even. It's about 7 to 10 days from here. If he announces rate cuts when he goes up to that podium, you are going to see these markets go parabolic. This is how we start getting into this $15 XRP coming in the summer months. The Fed has repeatedly stated its data dependent approach, and a softer CPI print directly addresses their concerns about inflation persistence. It alleviates pressure on them to maintain a restrictive stance for longer. It's not just about if they cut, but how much and how quickly. A lower CPI figure accelerates that timeline and potentially the magnitude of cuts. The immediate market reaction would likely be a significant uplift across risk assets. Equities, and particular growth stocks, would benefit as lower rates improve their future earnings present value. When we talk about risk assets, we are talking about cryptocurrencies. For cryptocurrencies, the narrative of easy money and increased liquidity would reemerge, making them an attractive alternative asset class in a dovish Fed environment. Remember, markets are forward looking. A CPI print suggesting a faster pace of rate cuts would effectively bring forward the loosening of monetary policies in investors' minds, leading to immediate repricing. Of course, while CPI is the main event, we also need to keep an eye on core CPI and other underlying inflation measures to ensure this disinflationary trend isn't just driven by volatile components. The market's reaction will also depend on the Fed's commentary following the release. Will they acknowledge the cooling inflation or maintain a cautious tone? This will be critical. So, yes, all eyes on CPI this Wednesday, but it's not just about the numbers itself, it's about what those numbers unlock in terms of monetary policy and investor sentiment. I'm anticipating a scenario that could be quite bullish for the markets. A lot of people think CPI coming in at 2.5. I believe it's coming in lower, around 2.1 to 2.3. Now, as the guys on Earth put this out, he states in here, it's a very good point. Imagine XRP taking off from a base of $2 instead of 50 cents. Here's his chart. Last time we took off, we were 50 cents, right? November 2024, we went from 50 cents to $3.40. That is a 580% growth. We are currently consolidating right around $2. Could you imagine if XRP does the same move that it did in November to January, 580%, but it does this move up from our new base of $2? We can do very simple math here. If we say that the move up was 600% and the price of XRP was $2, that's a $12 XRP. Looking at 240 and 580, you see how we get to this $15 mark? And it all starts tomorrow. Why? CPI. And then a week from now, Powell gets on stage. He announces rate cuts. It is game on. And if we do get the announcement of rate cuts, we will see this bull run push out all the way into 2026. If we don't get rate cuts, it's not the end of the world. You want to know why? Because Bitcoin's still going to do its thing. It's still going to go to 175 to 225. But the bull run will end this year. I want to see this thing push out all the way into next year. The longer it goes, the more money that comes in, the higher the prices go of our favorite altcoins. And do not forget, June 17th, another very important date for us XRP holders. The SEC is going to rule on Franklin Templeton Spot XRP ETF. If we get the Spot ETF approved, we get CPI coming in lower than 2.5%. We get rate cuts coming. We get the Genius Act being passed, and Ripple can start using RLUSD in their Hidden Roads acquisition, we get all four of those things, you are going to see a 600% move up. You are going to see the exact same move that we saw in November occur in the month of July. I hope you're ready, folks. XRP's been coiled up. It's been consolidating for quite some time around this $2 range. It is ready for its next move. And you know when XRP it moves fast and it moves violently to the upside. I can't wait. All eyes on Wednesday. That is when the fun kicks off. I just gave you four very, very important pieces of data we need to pay attention to. Let's get the checkbox next to the first one coming tomorrow when that CPI is released. All eyes on that tomorrow morning. I'm going to leave it like that. Look, I will catch you all on the next one.